County Wexford. Margaret Cox is director of the ICE Group. They've unveiled findings from a recent benchmark study that highlights the benefits of a 4-day working week. They set a precedent for other businesses to follow, and their key findings highlight a number of very interesting points, including increased employee motivation and energy levels, improved team morale and personal well-being, and greater profitability for the ICE Group. And their survey insights also show that employees value extra time for family relaxation and personal projects, and 27% have seen an increase in productivity since implementing the 4-day week. 100% of employee recommendations for other companies to adopt the 4-day week or other suggestions that have been put forward. And they have just celebrated their 5th birthday. And I think we do have Margaret on the telephone now, so let's link in with her here. Good morning to you, Margaret. You got me? How are you? We're having a little day of gremlins here today, but you're here. It's live radio and these things happen. Anyway, Margaret, how do you address the potential burnout that would lead to people looking for a 4-day working week? Is there burnout? And that's why we're calling for the 4-day working week.
Gosh, that's an interesting question. So is there burnout? I don't know that there is burnout. What I think is that we could do our lives better. We could do our work better, and we'd have a better work-life balance. And if you do introduce a 4-day week and people have more time for themselves, then I think you get a better productivity at work. And the 4-day week is a vehicle by which people can still do their job, they can do it faster and smarter, and they can have more time for themselves. So that's, I suppose, the hypothesis or the thought behind moving from a 5-day week to a 4-day week. And one of the reasons I think that, companies can do it now that they may not have been able to do it 4 and 5 and 6 years ago is that technology has changed, the way that we work has changed, and the expectations have changed.
All right, well, let's put it out to our Morning Mix listeners straight away then, before we even get into the core of this chat with you. Do you favour a 4-day working week? A simple yes or no will do. Text or WhatsApp us on 087 3737 956. Or you can even add a message to it, or give Mary, and I was going to say Mary Ann, give Catherine a call on 053 914 5222. Maybe come on air and tell me what a 4-day working week would be like to you. There's a hybrid model as well, isn't there? And this is where people are maybe working 2 days home, 2 days in work. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, usually in the hybrid model, people are still working over the 5 days, so that you never really get a full day off to yourself. So what we found in the research that we did with our employees in ICE Group is that people who work the 4-day week treasure that additional day as a personal day to do their general housekeeping chores and then have a weekend off, or they do some kind of hobby like running or swimming or golfing or whatever it is that they like to do in their spare time, and then still have a weekend spent with their family. Or some of our other employees had the opportunity to spend time with elderly parents or an elderly granny and give more, take caring duties on, but still have time to themselves. So it's not so much the working at home, but it's about having the spare day every week to know that you can work your life around it. And that gives them this, to the point you were making about burnout, Alan, that gives people the energy to come back into work. So we talk about one of our behaviours, because it's a whole different culture at work, is that you come into work on a Monday or a Tuesday and you're focused, energised and happy. And the whole idea is that you're focused on your work for the 4 days, you're energised because you've just had a 3-day weekend, and you're happy because you're facing into another 3-day weekend at the end of the 4 days. So that's giving everybody a lift, a boost, and something to be working towards with no burnout. Right. And they can see the value in it.
And do you do 10-hour working days? Sorry for cutting across you. Do you do 10-hour working days? No, you don't?
So we reduced our working week from 39 to 36. So we do 4 9-hour days, in fairness, but not 10-hour working. So we reduced the number of hours, but we maintained the same pay. So that's the key to a proper 4-day week, is some reduction in the hours that you would work. Some people say 5%, 10%, 20%. That's up to the company to see what works for them. But the key thing is, if the person's doing the same job as they would do in 5 days, they get paid the same rate of pay as they would do in 5 days. So there's no reduction in pay. Okay. And that's the key thing. It's kind of a partnership between the employee and the organisation, saying, you do the same job, you do it in less time, and we'll reward you by paying you the same amount of money, and you'll have an extra day off.
And have you got any examples, testimonials of where this has really worked out for people?
Well, we've been doing it for 5 years. So
you've a lot of testimonials. We have a lot of
testimonials. People say, we did a recent survey, and one of our employees said, it's the greatest gift I've ever gotten at work. Another testimonial is one of our marketing manager, Tom. Tom went back to college during on his extra day off, and he did a master's and came out with a first class honours award in his master's, whereas before that he said that he wouldn't have been able to do it if it wasn't for the 4-day week, and he wouldn't have come out with as good a result. So those are the kind of testimonials we see. We see people who normally don't get to pick up their children from school because of the fact that, they're going to a creche or whatever. On their day off, they're able to go down to the school gates, meet the other mummies and daddies, and pick up the kids from school. So it's a range of testimonials. And nobody says, all of our staff have said overwhelmingly that they feel more confident in their work, they feel happier in terms of coming to work, and they're more satisfied in terms of their job security, their productivity, and how they get around doing their job.
Have you got a template then, if any other organisations like to follow the ICE Group? I didn't really get a chance to talk to you about the ICE Group. Who are you? What do you do?
Well, we're based in Galway with offices in Limerick and Sligo. We're a recruitment and a training company. We're a 5-day week company in terms of our customers. So we work over the 5 days. We have PIM and training centres. We do a lot of training for the ETBs across the country. And then we recruit and place people in manufacturing, financial administration type jobs all across Ireland. And we have a big healthcare division that recruits and places healthcare staff in Australia.
So you're busy.
So that's the ICE Group.
Yeah.
We're busy. I mean, we're about 68 people at the moment. So, it's a big full-time base of staff, and then we would have a number of contractors who would work with us on different contracts at different times. So upwards at times we'd have a payroll of coming up towards 100 people, depending on how many contractors we might have.
Well, you pitched well the 4-day week. Let's see what the listeners to the Morning Mix think of your suggestions. Lovely to talk to you, Margaret. Have a good day. Thanks for taking our call.
Thanks, Alan.
Bye-bye now. That was Margaret from ICE there, suggesting a 4-day week. What do you think? Just text a simple yes or no, or WhatsApp a simple yes or no to 087 3737